Hello, everyone. This is Ross from Metro Dream Beam. I'm an eBay seller full time. I've been doing this with my fiance Netta for more than 3 years now. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. So I'm about to go into what we're shipping out today on Wednesday. Is it Wednesday? One second. What day is today? It is Tuesday. It is Tuesday. I swear, I always lose track. Like I said, I say it a lot, but like eBay is just a constant doing the same thing over and over again. But we had some good sales. Like this is a really good midweek day, but we've been kind of having a bunch of good midweek days this past like 6 months or so. And then sometimes our weekends are weak out of nowhere. So the first thing is Star Wars, The Power of the Force EV9D9, one of these toys. Get a bunch of these at auction. No one else usually wants to mess with them because they're not like super crazy prices. I think there's just a bunch of them. I know there's a lot of Star Wars fans, but I don't know if they like pay up for their collectibles or if it's because there's just like a bunch of this stuff. But yeah, it probably appeals more to like Gen X. I'm not too sure about boomers and stuff, but this ended up going for $7.78. Of course, there's millennials that like it too. But all right, plus shipping, everything's going to be plus shipping. Moving along, we have a book. This is like a big coffee table book, Air War by Edward Jablonski right here. It's gonna be like one of those military ones. Like this thing is super heavy. I was excited when it sold because like, oh cool, I'll have a bunch of room. We listed this a long time ago. It's still in good condition, even though it has like wear throughout like the back and basically this little dust jacket right here. But we've been doing well with books again out of nowhere. So this ended up going for $12. And then moving along, we have some generic acrylic board game tokens, or they're probably gonna be used for a miniature game. Where did I put them? Sorry, a lot of small stuff today. So this is like a good amount of sales in a small bag today. So yeah, these are going to be little, the red ones are flames for like maybe for wounds or maybe like a building's on fire. And then there's a bunch of these little house blue acrylic ones. You probably can't see it, but yeah, I couldn't figure out what company made these. It looks like a company called Litco, but they made a bunch of acrylic tokens for miniature games, board games, card games before those particular companies just started upgrading their components. For example, board games used to have a bunch of cardboard tokens, and now you can get Kickstarters with special editions, premium tokens. So they're kind of, this company was good at the time. I don't know if they're still around. They probably are, but they were taking that business at the time, or they had the good idea to make upgraded board game components. So this is probably gonna be used for like Flames of War. But yeah, this ended up going for $17.59. Oh, that's pretty good. I didn't realize it went for that much. I wasn't paying attention to the sales yesterday too much. I was really focused on organizing and then listing some bins to get some more space here in our place. And then also I think it was at 9 o'clock, we went and saw the movie. I think it's called Weapons or Weapon. It was a pretty good movie. So that kind of took the whole day there, listed a bunch, or we did all the video packing, shipping, and then did the listed like a couple boxes, and we just went straight to the movie. So I didn't realize some of the stuff sold. All right, well, obviously I grabbed it today, but all right, this thing right here is going to be United Airlines. This is going to be a blue dice bag. Where I listed it as a dice bag because like a lot of people who play D&D or other board games or stuff that need a dice bag, there's not really like a good solid company that's known for making a good variety of dice bags. So I'm always keeping an eye out for things that people are going to use for dice bags. Like the actual bag is a good like felt quality. The drawstring is pretty good quality. So I also think about, not related to D&D, but Magic the Gathering. A lot of people would use I think it was Crown Royale, the alcohol brand. They would use that baggie. It was like a green one, I think, with like yellow, like linings and stuff. People love that one for Magic the Gathering for different dices and tokens. So like you would go to like a Magic tournament and see a bunch, but you still probably could to this day go and see a bunch. So you just got to think about these weird things that aren't normally associated with board games and card games, and people do use them. That sold for $18. I guess I'm not sure what United Airlines had in that. Maybe some socks or some napkins or something. Who knows? Also, if someone likes United Airlines, they might have just bought it for that. They might not be using it as a dice bag. They might just like it. All right, next up, I sold a bunch of this card, Albert Wesker. This is I've been wrong about this, and it's on the back of the card. So there's a Resident Evil Legendary board game, and Legendary is like a board game system where they have like Marvel, DC, Alien movie. They do have a Resident Evil. They have like 007. They have a bunch of them. I thought this was a legendary promo card. It's actually for the Resident Evil deck building game. It even says it on the back here. For some reason, it has the layout of like one of the villains in the legendary game. So I just thought this was a promo for the legendary game. So yeah, never played the Resident Evil deck building game. This was a weird one where someone sent me a message because down here in the corner, usually cards have identifiers. This one says CH-001. That's the card number. Probably stands for character number 1. And they were telling me that this was not a promo, but if it was, that they would accept it for $10 or something, which is, I was like, okay, I'll take the $10. So I had to double check. So I looked it up. This is a promo because they were saying it was supposed to have a P down there in the corner, P for promo. There's 3 different Albert Wesker promos for the Resident Evil deck building game. This is just one of them, and this is supposed to have how I had it labeled. So I had to like double check. So I always say, like, when someone sends me a message, I'll look into it. Sold a bunch of this. I have another one, so I relisted it. Like I said, it sold for $10. I've never played that board game. Deck builders are pretty fun, where you start with, if people know what a deck builder is, it's mostly just a card game, and you will start with, everyone will start with like 10 cards. It might just be stuff that will fight or give you purchasing power, and then there might be some other symbols or something that allows you to progress. And you're usually working towards like some kind of goal, like whoever gets the most points, and you'll get that by defeating like villains. It really depends on the theme. There's a lot of themes. You can have like space all the way to Resident Evil. You can kind of make anything in deck builder. But the premise of the game is you start with a small deck, you're building cards, your deck gets bigger, and then if your discard pile ever runs out, you get to shuffle everything back up, so everything you have purchased goes, like, your deck gets stronger as the game goes on. And then, like I said, it culminates to some kind of like victory, where like once all the villains are defeated, or once someone like something's happens, depending on which game, you end the game, and then you just count up your points. And people like the game deck builders because they're very simple to play and kind of teach. And then they're usually like a fast-paced game because, as your deck gets stronger, stuff gets faster, things move quicker, and then game's over, and you can play another one. It's usually like a good game you can play over and over and over again. I played a bunch of this one called DC Deck Building, but I'll move on. We have a set of 102 Android Netrunner cardboard tokens. So I got a bunch of these cardboard tokens for Android Netrunner. Man, this like brought me, like, it was a blast from the past. Richard Garfield made this game. These are the tokens. You've seen me sell the alt art promos. You've seen me sell the acrylic tokens. I looked up what a base set would have. So this is 102 tokens. That's what, like, if you buy a core set, this is what you get, which is enough for 2 players to play the game. There's stuff like tags. There's credits, which is the currency used to play cards. There's these little tokens that you can use on cards. Sometimes you can like set up traps as the runner or as the corporation. And then there's bad publicity tokens, where if you're the corporation, if you do naughty stuff, you'll get some debuffs. There's a brain damage in here, where people have less cards in their hands. So yeah, this is what a core set would have. I have another set of this core set stuff. So when I was there, I double checked, I counted, and then relisted $19.49. Android is still being carried to this day by fans that make stuff, and they have like their own website. Moving along, we have this. It's Panzer Grenadier Großdeutschland 1943 board game. This is just like one of the token chit encounters. Sorry, not encounter. One of the token chit sheets right here. It has a bunch of these little pieces that represent different like trucks and looks like infantry. This one is like a weirder quality than I normally have seen for these little token sheets. Normally they're like a worse quality. This is like a thicker board than just like some of the cheaper cardboard ones. But yeah, I haven't seen this one. Someone picked it up for $25. So it was just interesting for me to see like a better quality of those tokens. Next up is going to be, you see me sell the D&D miniature cards, which was a collectible game, which would come in booster packs by Wizards of the Coast. I think like early 2000, probably like 2004, 2008, something like that. This is gonna be one of the figures. This is like a Fromian. So this is like, I wanted to talk about the Fomorian. I think that's why I never got into D&D. They have all these, like, in my head, just weird names for the monsters and creatures. I'm just like a basic person. I just want like ogre, maybe call it like a cave troll, just like skeleton. I think some old D&D has it, but they always have like these odd names in my head where it just like I don't see this like troll ogre thing with the club as a Fomorian, or is that what they call it? Morian. Yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't fit in my head. But yeah, $8 for it. They were pre-painted miniatures. It was like a bigger one. They have sizes all over, like big, small, large, for the Dungeons and Dragons miniatures. All right, so now onto the big enchilada. These are 2 1980s dice. There's a black one here, a red one here. I technically couldn't identify them. I tried to have Retta help me out. There's a bunch of people that were like talking about it. There was like 2 people that said that they knew and they didn't want to tell me what they were. For whatever reason, I talked about this briefly in my other video when I was trying to identify them. But yeah, these end up going for, someone snap bought them $70 a piece yesterday. So I got $140 for these 2 dice. Whatever they are, they're super rare. No one could help me. I even messaged someone on eBay. Normally I don't like bother people that bought stuff from me, But there was someone that bought some like other vintage dice I got like 6 months ago. I happened to message them like, hey, do you know what these are? They said that they did know, but that was they worded it like that's not my services I give or something like that. They were basically saying like I'm not going to tell you. They looked up the price and they were like, well, no, I don't want them at that price. So yeah, it's just super odd to have these two dice. So what I'm going to do is after the 31 days, so this person can't return them anymore or something, I'm going to message them and say like, hey, like now that there's like it's been 31 days, can you let me know what these are? So yeah, $140 for that. That's crazy for me. I do know that there's a lot of dice that are worth a lot of money. I'm not like oblivious to this, but I know maybe some people out there who watch my channel don't know that. So it's just I'm excuse me. I'm happy because that's pretty good money for us. Really good money, especially because I had some other dice like in that packet. All right, moving along. Last thing for the day, even though it's not $140, I still appreciate every sale. This is a 20 millimeter, some infantry from World War II. Yeah, was it World War II or one? World War II. Yeah, there's like 3 infantry here. These end up going for $5.75. Like I said, I'm still excited about all the sales. So that is everything, but we did have some chunky sales. So yeah, so the movie was good that we saw. It was a pretty good one. I'm normally not into horror, but I thought there was good like notes. If you sit back and think about the movie, there's a lot of just stuff to think about. I don't want to spoil it for people. If you like horror or like suspense or thriller, I think Weapon is a good one to see. And then I also, after that, when I got home, and that is not a fan, but I ended up watching the Happy Gilmore Part 2 on Netflix, and oh, that was so bad. Like Happy Gilmore 1 or just Happy Gilmore, the movie, was one of my favorites. I've watched it like hundreds of times, but Part 2, it was so bad. I think only like chuckled one time. Like I said, it kind of, I don't even count it as like a Part 2. I'm one of those snobs there. So if you were a fan or thinking of watching it, I really don't think it was worth it. It was that bad. It just wasn't good. It was just like they kept doing nods to the first movie, and then sometimes they would even bring in flashbacks of the first movie, and I was just like, I just actually want to watch the first movie again. I don't want to watch this second one. So all right, that's everything. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Have a good one.